Hey friends, welcome to another tutorial. In this tutorial, I'm going to teach you how to use AI power to generate a fully functional web page for you using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript files. So first of all, let me show you how it works. This is the project we're going to build. It is a Python project, so I open it with the terminal. Let's run it with Python. Sorry. Python. Click enter. Now I have to write my project name. So it's my calculator. Press enter. Now you have to instruct the AI what it should build for you. And because I want to build a calculator using HTML, CSS, and JS, I'm going to tell the AI what exactly I want. So I say generate a simple calculator web application using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Press enter. It created my calculator folder, and after a few seconds it will generate us the remaining files, the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So you have to wait. The HTML file is created. Just wait a few seconds. The CSS is also created, and now it's time for the JS file to be created. And it will generate that also in a few seconds. It do everything automatically for you. And yeah, the JavaScript is also created, web page successfully generated. And as you can see, this is my project, my calculator. So let's open it. Okay, so inside my calculator folder, we have three files, the index, the JavaScript, and the CSS file. So let's run it and see what AI generated for us. Oh yeah, this is quite nice calculator. It's a quite nice design. Let's see if it's functional. So let's add something. 5 plus 9 equal to 14. Yes, it's functional. Let's multiply it by 8. Let's divide it by 4. And yeah, that's correct. Let's also check the decimal point. 2.6 times 9. And yeah, this is a fully functional application which is built by AI in a few seconds. As you can see, let's see how the codes look like. Let's open it with the Visual Studio Code, and this is the code of the page. It's quite organized. Let's open the script, and it's very easy to understand. If you want to make changes, it's very easy to make changes. So we build a Python application which can build as web applications. Not just web application, you can also create some web pages. I can show you an example. Let's open it again. I open the terminal. I run it. I run it with Python for one more test. And this time, let's say I want to create a dog shop, a simple dog shop. So I say a dog store, or a dog shop, looks better. And I say use Bootstrap to make me a dog shop website where I sell the dog products. And the website must have a header, a menu, header with menu. What else? Some dog product photos with detail and learn more. and also a hero section and a footer. Design it very nice and mobile responsive. Okay, tomorrow it will be mobile responsive because it's Bootstrap. Design it very interesting for dog owners. This is a prompt instruction we give the AI to build us the website, and I press enter, and we have to wait a few seconds so the AI generate this website for us, this web page for us. And you do nothing, you just give the AI instruction, it will do the job for you, and then later you can modify it and see how you like it. Okay, the HTML file is created. Now let's wait for the CSS and JS. Okay, everything is created. The HTML, the CSS, and JavaScript files are all generated. And in here, let's close this one. And in here we have a folder called Doc Shop. Let's go inside it, and there we have the HTML, JavaScript, and CSS file. And because there was no need for any CSS code, as you can see, the script.js is empty, 0 kilobyte. So let's run it, the index.html. Let's see how it looks. Okay, let's wait, and there you go. As you can see, we have a Doc Shop web page completely built with AI in a few seconds. We have a top nav bar with menus. We have a call to action button. We have a nice logo in here. We have some products, as we told it to have an image, information, and a learn more button. And at the bottom we have a footer. Let's see if it's mobile responsive. And yeah, it is. It's completely mobile responsive. This complete web page is built with AI in a few seconds. And that really makes your job much easier. Now, if you want to change things in here, you can go to the HTML or CSS file of this project and modify it. As you can change the color, the structure, but AI helps you to do your job much faster. As you can see, this is a completely usable web page. You can use it just right now. So that was it. That's what it is, and I think now you understand what we are gonna do and what we wanna build. So now we are going to make this web app generator using Python, and let's start. So I create another empty folder. I call it my tutorial, and inside this one I create a new file. I call it web page generator.py. Okay, now let's open this one with a Visual Studio Code or any code editor you like. So let's start. The first thing I have to do is to import some modules like the operation system, the OS, the request, and the JSON. First I import the OS module. The OS is used for creating directories and handling file paths. And after that I'm going to import the requests. Yeah, just like that, the requests. It is used to send HTTP requests to the API. And after that I'm going to also import the JSON, and as you know, it is used to format the data as JSON when the API gives us the request. These three libraries modules are necessary. If you don't have them, make sure to install them before doing anything else. And after that you have to go to this website, the Mistral.ai, In here, click on try the API, and in here you have to sign up and create an account. And when you create an account, it gives you an API. Because I already have an account, I just logged in. And if you are new, you just sign up and then log into your account, and this page will be appear. And here you can click this API to get your API key. And in here you have all information about API. You can learn, you can read it. Okay, let's get my API key where it is. Okay, I think I have to go back. Like, I go to API keys, yes, and here go to API keys, and here it is. If you're new, you just click create new key, and it will give you an API key. So this is my API key. I just copy my API key because I'm going to use it in my project. Okay, once we have imported our modules, the next step is to set the API key. So I make a variable called API key, and this is equal to, and I put my API key in here. You have to put your API key also inside this one. This is mine. You can use yours. And after that, I have to put the API URL. So I use the Mistral API URL, and this is equal to, and this is the URL. You can get it from the API documentation. I just copy it really quick and paste it here. Okay, this is the endpoint of Mistral API. It generate chat-based response for us. Okay, after that, we have to generate the function. I have to make a function to generate code using this AI, this Mistral API AI. Okay, how I can do that? I create a function. I call it generate code, and inside this function, I give it a header. This header is equal to a response. I have to send my the content API. First, I have to send an authorization. Okay, we can do that. You have to read the documentation. Okay, I just really quick do that. Okay, so we created a function called generate code. We have to send the prompt, the description, everything we want to send. We put it here. I first of all I send my prompt, which we make it in a moment. Prompt and the description and also the file type. In the header, first we have to get the authorization. Authorization, just like this. And this is equal to, I have to save, and here I have to put my API key. Okay, and I also have to send the file, the content type, content type, which is application JSON. We send the authorization and the content type to the API itself. After that, we also send the data, which has the model, the specific AI model of the Mistral AI, and we also need to send a message to get a response. Okay, after our function, I'm going to create the data, and this is equal to the model. You could use many models inside this Mistral API. I use the small one, Mistral small. You can get all of this information inside the Mistral API documentation. And I also need to send a message. This is where we tell the API, the AI, to do this or that. Okay, so I give it a rule. I give it a rule, and I say this is a system rule. This is a system and content. Okay, here you put your rule. I say you are an expert web developer. I tell the AI you're an expert web developer. This is the rule for our AI system. That's the first thing. And after that, I make another rule. And this is for the user. The content. Okay. And here, this is the tricky part, okay? You have to be careful here. And here I say generate a file type. This is where we see which kind of file you build this. This is where I say HTML CSS JavaScript. You can give it some other file type like Python, C++, whatever. That's why this is a variable. And I say this file for a website named, and this is where I give the website name. Website named, and that's where it is, this prompt. Okay. Let me see what's wrong. Okay, nothing's wrong, everything's good. Okay. And after that I say the website should be designed as follows. Here I give the description. And I say provide clean and professional code. And that's everything we need. So what we did here, we give this data to our Mistral AI. First we select this model, and after that we send this message. First I say for the system that you're a web developer, and then I send another prompt to it to generate a file type, which will later we make for the website name prompt, which is the website name, and I tell it the website should be designed as follow the description you put, and provide clean professional code. Okay, that's easy. And after that, after the data, now I have to send this data to the API. So how you can do that? That's very easy. I already imported the requests. I use the request and I say post to send this data to where? To our API. Where's our API? This is it. I put the API URL here. Okay, and after that I must send in a header with it. And this headers is equal to this headers. Let's name it headers. okay? And I also want to send the data, and this data is I have to send this data, but I can send it like this. I have to first use the JSON to dumps this data. So I said JSON. I've already imported the JSON. Use JSON function dump and put this data inside it. So we send this data to the API, and once API get the data, it generates what we need and send it back. So you have to store those data somehow. So in here, before this, I make a variable. I call it response, and this is equal to this, and just like that, when I get the response, it will be stored in this response variable. Very easy, right? Okay, what you have to do next, after the response, I have to check if the request is successful. The set code is 200, yes, and it will extract, and then we extract and generate the code. Otherwise, we should print an error message, and that's really easy to do. We use if this response dot status code is equal to 200, then return what? The response, and I use the JSON because the response is a JSON format, and from the JSON I want to select the choices. This is where you can get it from the API documentary, because it's different for every AI. I want to select this first item, and I also want to select the message in the content. From the message, the content. Okay, let me explain this really quick. Okay, so when we got a response, we returned it. We get our response, and first we use response.json to convert this API response into a Python dictionary type, and this assumes the response is in a JSON format. After that, the API response is expected to have a key called choices, which the Mistral API has, and we select that, which contain a list of choices. Okay, likely from this AI model, and this one, give us a list like this. Let me show you an example. Something like this. We get something like this. This is the key choices, and it has something like this. Okay, and after that, since the choices is a list, the choice 0 is select the first choice. So we select the first choice in the list, and then the API response structure contain a message key, this part, which contain a message key which retrieve the message for us. Okay, and this part, the content, this message dictionary usually has a content field that contain the actual response text. Okay, just like that. I hope you guys learned what is this. This is something from the API itself, so you have to read the documentary to understand it better. Okay, once we have that, Now it is time to create another function. Now because we have the response, we need a function to create us the web page. So let's make another function. I call it create web project. And sorry. And this function have some inputs, some values like the project name and description. Okay, inside this function we have to define the project folder path using the current working directory. So we tell this script to make our project inside where we are right now. Okay, inside where this webpageGenerator.py is. So how we can do that? We use our OS module. OS. First I give it a variable, call it folder path, and this is equal to OS. From OS I select the path and I join, and inside join I put OS, and a function got get cwd, and we put our project name in here. So what exactly we did, we get our current directory, and we also joined our project name to it, and that's our folder path. Very easy. Okay, after that I use try to create a new folder for our project if it doesn't exist already. So I say try, we use OS to make us a directory. We use a function called make dars, and I give it this folder path, and this function also has something called exist, okay, equal to 2. Exist, okay, like this is like this. Now okay, I think it's like that. So we will create our folder path, and after that I'm going to print a message, and I say created project folder, and I put my project folder name, and just like that. So this part where we'll create our project folder and print as a message. That's it. After that we have to generate the HTML file, the HTML code. If the code is return, it create an index file and we generate the code. So how we generate the HTML part? So I make a variable, I call it HTML code, and this is equal to we already have this function generate code. We use this function and just send the things it needs. We send to the prompt the project name, and then we send the description, and we also send the file type, which is in this case HTML. So first we create the HTML, right? That's why we the file type is HTML. Then we check if HTML code, if the HTML code, if this function create as the HTML code, then do this. Okay, then what we do, then we have to put those code inside a file called index.html, right? So we do that. I say HTML path equal to os path join, just like before, and I put my folder path and I give it a name index.html, and after that we have to write the response code we get from this function and put those code inside this HTML index.html file. We created this file, but we have to put the codes inside it. Okay, we have to do that. How you can do that? It's a little bit complex, but we say with open HTML path. I explain first. I write the code. W mean write. Encoding equal to UTF-8. Okay. As HTML file. HTML file that write HTML code. And okay, let me really quick explain this code. So first, we generated, we send our project name and description and the file type to the function. We call the function, and if we got a response, once we got a response, we store it inside this HTML code, and after that we create a folder, a file. Inside this folder, I call it index.html, and then we open this index.html, we open it as writing, okay? We open it in writing mode with the encoding of UTF-8. Once we have opened the file, then we write the response content to this file, and that's it. And once it is done, we print a message. HTML file is created. Put the HTML path where it is, and this will generate us our HTML file. So by running this code, we have an HTML code. Before continue writing the rest of our code, let's test it and see if it works or not. Okay, let me save this one. This is my file. Let's open it with a terminal. Python. Okay, as you can see, there's a problem in line 34. Let me check and fix it. Okay, I have forgotten something in here. This says to is small, but if you look in here, I see that the response is 200, which means we have a response return, but we don't have an else. Okay, so I'm going to do that. Else print error, and inside this error I say I put the response JSON. Write an F so I can use it, and just like that we print the error, and we return, I think, return none. And we also in here, if you can see, this is not the project name. This is a mistake. Project name. Have to fix it with this one, and I just put this part of the code. I will explain it later, but because of this testing, I have put that. We still get the error. Let me find out what is the error. Okay, I found out what is the problem. As you can see, this part should be inside the try, but it's not. So just put a space, and there you go. Now we shouldn't have a problem. Let's run it. Item, the file name. Yes, it works. We call it cat shop. Let's see if it, yeah, it created a folder for us, so this section works. Let's see if the next section, which is generating an HTML file for this one, if it works. If that works, we can go for the next sections to generate CSS and JS. And yeah, we have the index.html. Let's open it. And awesome, it created as the HTML file, which means we can continue building the next parts to generate the CSS and JS, and I will also explain this section for you guys. For now, I delete this part and we continue writing our code. And similar to HTML, but for the CSS, we do it for the CSS. I say CSS code, just like this, okay? I can easily copy this section and paste it here. Just change the CSS to HTML to CSS. And after that, just like before, we check if the CSS code is generated. Then we type CSS path to generate the file, and this is equal to, just like before, we copy the section and we make another file. I call it style.css, and just like before, we open it. Okay, just copy that section of code and change it. Instead of HTML path, we type this CSS path as HTML file. We say CSS file, okay? That's CSS file, and then just like before, I copy that section, put it here, and instead of HTML file, I copy this one, CSS file, write HTML code, I say CSS code, and here CSS path. And just like before, in this section we generated the HTML, and here we generated the CSS, and we just copy this one and paste it one more time here to generate the JS. Let me comment this one. This for HTML. This section is for JS, sorry, CSS, and this section is for JS. Then here, instead of CSS code, I say JS code, similar to CSS. I generate code, and I say Java script, and I copy it, put it here, and instead of CSS path, I say JS path, and in here I say script.js. Open the CSS path, I say JS path as JS file, and copy that. Yeah, CSS code, JS code, and that's it. Okay, no, script.js, not CSS. What was it? Script.js, CSS code, JS code, CSS path, change it to just like that. Let's just copy paste, okay? Nothing very special. We just need to change the message. So here I say CSS file is created, and here I say Java is JS file is created. And after that we make a final success message after all the files are generated. So in here I print and I say a new line. I say web page successfully generated, open index.html in your browser. You can put whatever success message you like. Okay, after that, because we use try, if our try is failed, we have to handle the error. How can do that? Just say except exception as e. If there is an error, we put it inside this e, and I just print that error. I say error equal to e. If this try is failed, we print the error to see what's wrong. Okay, and after that, after everything, we have to create a main execution block. So we do that, and we make a main execution because to run only if the script this script is executed only from the directory, not as a module. Okay, how you can do that? Very easy. I say f name, say small name, this is equal to main, and just like that, inside this one, when the file is loaded, I want to give it some input. These inputs, first one is a project name, it should be inside it, and this is an input. I say enter the project name, and because maybe the user put white space, new line, and etc., we have to use a function called strip to remove those things. And just like that, we do it for the description. Let's copy paste this one. Yeah, paste it here, enter the project description, and we also strip this one, and we have to run our function. This function, create web project, and we give this project name and description. And just like that, our code is completed. Now let's save it and run it. Let's delete this catch-up. Now let's run it and let's see if it works. Python. Okay, there's a problem. Okay, let's see on line 49. What is wrong? 49. CSS file. What is wrong? Okay, let's put in a space here. Let's run it again. What's the problem? Okay, the problem was this. There's a little bit of spacing. I really don't like this about Python, but a little bit of space, so tab will generate an error. Okay, whatever. Let's save it and run it again. Now it should work. Hopefully it works. I hope I don't get any error. And yes, no error. Enter the project name. Okay, let's say a mobile shop. I want to build a mobile shop webpage. Make a mobile shop webpage. Okay, it created the mobile shop folder for me. Let's open it. And now let's wait for it to generate the HTML. Yes, it generated the HTML file. Let's wait for the CSS and JS. It generated the CSS file also. And let's wait for the JS. And yeah, there you go. We have all three files. Let's see what it built for us. We open the index file, and yeah, it generated a basic web page for a mobile shop. If you give more description, it will be more beautiful and interesting. But yeah, it worked. Just like we previously we built this calculator, this thing. You can build any kind of things with this application, and you have learned how to build it. This is all the code you need. In this tutorial, you learn how to use the AI. You also learn how to use the API, how to generate your own AI application. And also it is very useful if you are a web developer. It can help you to generate some web pages, some web applications really quick, and then you can modify it and make it much better. So I hope you guys learned something from this tutorial. It's a very long tutorial, I'm sorry for that. If you learned something from this tutorial, I'm glad. If you have any question, let me know in the comment below. And thanks for the watching. Have a great time. Make sure to like and subscribe if you didn't. And that's it. Have a good time. Goodbye.